Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out for how she reacted to my pregnancy announcement? Mom passed away 4 years ago and my sister and I received inheritance. All Mom owned was split between us equally except for her house. In her will, she wrote the house goes to whoever has kids in the future to help the grandchildren. Then mentioned that if me and my sister have kids, we'll split the house value in half. It was obvious my sister and her previously child-free husband wanted the house so bad because within weeks of the funeral, she announced she was pregnant, but couldn't keep it since she announced miscarriage days later. She didn't stop till she had a son over a year later. But then she kept getting involved in my marriage, advising me to reconsider because of my husband's condition that had us suffer from infertility. He was also in remission for his mental condition when he had an accident that impacted his jaw and left leg. Recovery has been long and draining. We got help from nobody, and the past years were awful. My sister kept referring to my mom's house as officially her son, since she has a kid and I don't/won't. Till my husband and I found out we are expecting recently. We invited family over to make the announcement, and when she heard, she was shocked. She asked if I was serious, then called me unbelievable to go as far as to lie just so I get to share her kid's house. I was speechless. She said even if I was pregnant, we shouldn't be parents, and brought up my husband's BPD ignoring he recovered, brought up his disability which he got rehab for, saying this was a mistake because she never expected me to stay with my husband after everything. My husband heard that, but kept smiling at her as she listed the reasons why we should reconsider keeping this baby. I argued that we decided it's none of her business, and then my husband got involved and sarcastically said, "Oh, Aunt Helen is just mad now that she'll have to share Mama's house. Just say it. It's written all over your face." This upset her a lot. It escalated and I told her brother-in-law to leave. My dad and aunt told me not to, but I still kicked her out. My aunt said my sister was surprised and under the impression me and my husband weren't going to work due to several reasons including infertility, so she was right to react this way. Adding she didn't appreciate what my husband said, and the house is last of my sister's worries because she promised to look after me when my mom passed. They want me to apologize and resolve this. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. NTA, 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 NTA. Oh my god, what an absolute psychopath. Get a lawyer. Get a copy of that will and only communicate through that lawyer. She will make your life miserable no matter what happens from here on out. I would cut contact and let a legal team deal with any situation regarding the will in the house. Yeah, Opie, do this. Like now. I'm a lawyer. Get off Reddit and start looking people up. I just got some serious RAMP nightmare flashbacks reading this post. For those uninitiated, RAMP stands for Rule Against Perpetuity, the most evil and reviled topic in law. Everyone sucks here. The biggest a-hole here is your mother for writing the will the way she did. This has made both you and your sister view each other's pregnancy as opportunistic. Right? Opie's view of her sister's pregnancy isn't any kinder. Everyone sucks here. I mean, if it is true that they were child-free up until they found out they could get a free house, then it's kinda unforgivable for them to pop out an unwanted child just to financially benefit from that kid. Your mother is the a-hole. In many jurisdictions, that will could be challenged, most likely successfully. Thank you. Was just thinking the mom is the biggest a-hole for setting everyone up for fighting, and for making it so the conflict would happen after she was gone so she wouldn't have to deal with the aftermath. My grandmother was the same with inheritance, but she made it about medical issues some of us had at the time, instead of children. You can't predict what's going to happen in the future, so wills like this are foolish. I feel the most sorry for the sister's kid who was literally conceived for the purpose of the child-free parents getting a bigger cut of the inheritance. I imagine their life won't be easy. Next story. Am I the a-hole for throwing my sister's passwords in her face when she asked for a favor after years of estrangement? I, 26 female, have a sister, 28 female. We haven't talked in 6 years. We were very close to not talking for like 4 years before that, and growing up we never had a good relationship. She was the person teachers loved, the smart kid in our family, the one who was naturally very gifted at academics. I was never. I struggled even with my best effort, and teachers hated me for it. When I would start out with a teacher, I was Kate's sister, and they had such high expectations for me, but soon learned I wasn't Kate, and some hated me for it. Some were just unable to understand that I was trying my best but wasn't smart. I never was smart like that. Our parents really wanted me to be more like Kate. They would praise the crap out of her and tell me to try harder, to stop making excuses for my D grades. Then I found out I was autistic when I was like 7, after a really awesome substitute teacher made a huge impact on me. Didn't really matter to my parents though. And a year later, my sister started to hate me because she felt I was ruining her reputation with the teachers. She told me our parents should drop me off at home for dumb and mentally impaired kids. Over the years, our parents really did encourage her to try and make me better, and would really encourage me to try and be more like her. Eventually, we just both hated each other to the point of no return. She told me I ruined her life, and made her life harder for her with my lack of a brain, and I should have been terminated. We were 15 and 17 when that happened. Anyway, we haven't talked in years, when suddenly she reaches out asking for a favor. That her future in-laws are close, and that she needs me to show up and make it seem like we still talk so they don't judge her. I threw her words in her face about me being terminated, and told her I was too dumb to help her out. She told me I was petty and childish, and extended family sided with her on it. Because it's been so long, why would I do that sort of thing? Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. The only reason she re-established contact was to ask you to lie for her. Let her wallow in the consequences of her own choices. This in itself speaks volumes about the attitude the older sister and parents have towards Opie. It's like saying, I have no interest in having a good relationship with you, making amends for being an a-hole or any kind of effort in general. But I know this reflects badly on me, so you have an obligation to lie and make me look good in front of others. She just doesn't want her future husband and in-laws to find out how nasty and selfish she is before getting married. You're right. This is why my going rate for keeping up appearances for crap like this is $5,000 per day. Haven't had any takers, but people no longer bother me for this type of thing. It works for me. Not today, home. 1. She doesn't want to actually fix anything. She just wants to use you to lie to her in-laws. 2. You have no obligation to do anything for someone you've not spoken to for that long. 3. What your sister said was, in my opinion, unforgivable. 4. It sounds like your parents and sister failed you with their behavior, not getting you help and expecting you to just get good grades. 5. Your parents are the a-holes for having a favorite child and not valuing you for yourself. I agree. Not the a-hole. I agree with all points too. But like, if Opie is petty, I'd go and say all of that in front of the in-laws. Then be like, I'm sorry, I'm clearly too dumb to read social cues. That's what I do. The vindictive a-hole part of me wants you to go and play it out. Oh, remember all the good times we had growing up, Opie? Nope. I remember you telling me I should have been terminated or ditched in a home. So if that's what you're talking about, then yeah, good times. Not the a-hole. Came here for this response. I would go, and then just air all the ugly details right in front of everyone. Not the a-hole, Opie, and a better person than I. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for getting angry at my sister-in-law because of what she did? My brother, Ryan, got married 4 years ago to his childhood friend, Amy. Everything was great, until 2 weeks ago when my brother suddenly showed up to my apartment crying uncontrollably and in the middle of a mental breakdown. Apparently, Amy had been pregnant for a month and a half and got rid of it without his knowledge. He was on a business trip. The truth came out while they were in an argument because he noticed that she's been sick for a week and she's been ignoring him on purpose for seemingly no reason. Ryan was obviously devastated because they've been trying to have a baby for a year. I'll let him stay with me at the moment while he tries to think things over. I confronted Amy, and she absolutely doesn't care that my brother was deeply hurt. She told me the usual my body, my choice phrase, and that Ryan doesn't have the right to dictate what she wants to do with her body. I agreed with her on that, but I also told her that she should have communicated with my brother because it was also his child. She told me that she changed her mind about having kids and wanted to live child-free for the rest of her life. She was just looking for the right moment to tell Ryan about it. But she found out that she was a month pregnant and immediately decided that she didn't want it. She wasn't supposed to tell Ryan, but it slipped out during their heated argument. I was so angry at her selfish views and told her that my brother should divorce her lying butt. She was shocked, and she apparently contacted mine and her family about it when I left their house. The fight lasted for too long, And now everyone in both sides, except me, is against my brother because they think that he should still be supportive and loving towards her because having the procedure isn't easy. Even my parents told him to man up, but accept that he can't control Amy's body. I was also getting heat because I was enabling my brother's sexist views. Am I the a-hole? Edit. For those wondering why I was the one who confronted her, my brother had been having breakdowns for 3 days straight. I went to her because I want for them to talk and for her to help her husband. She never called nor texted in those 3 days at all. The conversation turned sour when she told me that she didn't care for my brother. Now for the top comments. Although I wholeheartedly agree with my body, my choice, I find it odd that a wife who was actively trying to have a baby for a year would get the procedure. Something doesn't feel right on this one. I think you are completely justified in your comment to your brother that he should divorce her lying butt. Info. Does your brother travel for work often? I'm wondering if there was a strong possibility that the baby wasn't your brother's? Yes. He is a private architect, so he travels a lot for his clients. I would put money on the child not being your brother's. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But if she was cheating, then reason for the termination wasn't solely because the baby wasn't his. She may have also cheated with someone of a different race. Because this would be a situation where she wouldn't be able to pass the child off as Opie's brother's because it'd be evident that the child isn't his. Just a theory. But hey, what do I know? Not day home. I agree it is her right. But it is also his right not to want to be married to her anymore. Especially if they really have been trying to have a child. That's not a decision like deciding what color to paint the kitchen. Having children / being child-free is a deal breaker for a lot of people. And if her brother travels a lot, I could see her getting her tubes tied, if she could find a willing doctor, and never saying anything to her husband. Not the a-hole. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not letting my sister and her family move into my house? I'm 27 female and my partner 29 male, recently bought our first home. This was huge for us as we live in New Zealand, and house prices have been skyrocketing over the last few years. And even with the $70,000 that I inherited from my grandparents, both of us working full-time, and a loan from my partner's parents of $20,000, we only just managed to scrape through and get the place we wanted. It is a 2-bedroom, plus a small office where my partner will work from home. I'm a builder, he's a lawyer. My sister, 29 female, is unemployed and has no education past college. In addition, she has 5 kids and has recently found out she's pregnant with her 6th. Her partner is being let out of prison soon but will be on home detention, and her current landlords don't want him living in their house. He has historically been destructive of their property, so they've asked my sister to leave. She has until February next year to find a new place, as that's when their fixed term is up. My sister approached me and asked to move into our place. I said if they did find somewhere in time that they could stay with us temporarily, but there wasn't enough room to stay for more than a couple weeks, and that 7 months was more than enough time to find a place. She basically said that there was plenty of room. Partner and I could move into the office, less than 10 square meters in size. She and her partner would take our bedroom along with her youngest, who is 2 female, and her other 4 male, 5 male, 9 female, and 9 male, would share the second bedroom. I said absolutely not, that if she was desperate, I'd help her, but I wasn't going to give up the majority of our house that we'd worked our butts off for. She retaliated that I didn't even have kids, so I didn't know how hard life was. And I pointed out that when our grandparents passed away, she got the same $70,000 that I did, as well as $15,000 for each of her children that she had at the time. So why hadn't she got a job and used that $130,000 as a deposit on a house for her children? She told me to screw off, and that what she spent her money on was none of my business. Basically, it's been over 2 weeks now, and everyone in my family is hassling me to let her move into our house. My partner's completely against it due to the noise of 5 kids and a baby disturbing his work, and my sister's partner was horrible to him years ago before he went to prison. I don't want to bend, but at the same time, my entire family is treating me like I'm a huge a-hole, so I need some independent views. Edited to clarify, college in New Zealand is equivalent to high school in the States, or A/AS levels in the UK. Here, tertiary education is called university, not college. Not a-hole, and oh my god, do not let her in the door. She will ruin your life as she has ruined her own. How can your husband work from home if he has no office and there are little kids running everywhere? If you let her in your house, even in an emergency, It's going to be a gigantic mess that will be incredibly hard to untangle. How would you get them out if they refuse to leave? Absolutely no. State it once, twice, endlessly. Don't engage in reasoning or discussion. Just say over and over again the exact same message. The answer is no. This. If you let them in the door, they will take over your house and never leave. No is a complete sentence. Yep. If you let them in, it's over. There's no room for them. But maybe help your sister figure out contraception. And tell all those relatives that if they're so eager to see your sister housed with family, then they should take her and her children and her felon partner into their homes. See how fast that shuts everyone up. Not stay home. Don't let her move in at all. Not even for a week. Because they'll never leave. And her boyfriend will trash the place, as seems to be his history. Your family thinks she deserves help so much, they can let her move in with them. Not stay home. Write this down. Nobody in your family cares about you, your sister, or her kids. What they care about is that they don't have to take your sister, her six-pack of kids, and pearly boyfriend in themselves. And that they don't have to listen to her continued whining about how mean you are. That is the entirety of the "my entire family's treating me like I'm a huge a-hole" thing. I expect you as the first person to actually confront your sister on her crap, rather than flush the crap into somebody else's toilet, metaphorically speaking. You know full well that if you let your sister move in, she will never leave. Your marriage will fail, the house will get sold in a breakup, and your sister will only leave when the new buyers have law enforcement forcibly remove her. This is a very bad, toxic situation. When families don't take a stand together against what sounds a lot like addiction and/or severe narcissism, it's a disaster. Your family is basically abandoning you here by pressuring you to agree to a life-destroying request. This might be a good time to tell the whole lot of them to make like wallabies and bounce. I also think that a couple of $100 to get an hour of legal advice from a lawyer might be a great investment if only for your mental health. I'll add one thing. 6 kids, husband in jail, $130,000 that quickly disappeared. To me, there's only one explanation for that. Maybe you can think of another explanation for that, but I can't. Am I the a-hole for marrying a man who proposed to me while I was on the toilet? Original post. It's not as bad as it sounds. My friends are just obsessed with that part, I think. My 32 female fiancé Peter, 30 male, had arranged a candlelight dinner in a hotel room. There were flowers, rose petals, and music. There were my favorite dinner and my favorite dessert. Peter was in a tuxedo. I was wearing a dress. That evening was so amazing. While I was eating, my IBS started acting up. I ran to the bathroom. It was mortifying, but at least I was comfortable enough with Peter to allow him to come in. I was apologizing for ruining our evening while I was on the toilet, and he said it's okay. I felt like he wanted to ask me to marry him the whole evening. I told him I love him, and he said I love you too. I told him I'm sure you'll take care of me in sickness and in health. That comment made Peter smile, and he got down on one knee. I didn't care that this was the situation. I was so happy I say yes. I felt like he wouldn't have asked that evening if I didn't say the "in sickness and in health" comment. I told my best friend Kate, 33 female, and another friend Bailey, 33 female. I told them the truth. Kate said it's weird, creepy, and an a-hole move on his part. I explained that he likely would have put it off if I didn't mean the health comment. Kate said I was desperate and that I should have some respect for myself. Bailey said if I thought Peter would ask another time, then I should have let him ask another time. Before talking to them, I thought I have the sweetest proposal story. Now I feel like an a-hole caused my amazing fiancé to have a terrible story. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. This is the cutest story. Your friends are actually just jealous because they don't have someone who loves them and will put up with their shit. He's an absolute keeper OP. Congratulations on your engagement. Not the a-hole. The cutest story? Wow. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much. I think it is funny and cute with some romance thrown in. You know, without a doubt, this man loves you and everything about you. Congratulations. Not the a-hole. As long as you and him are happy, who cares about anyone else? A lot of women have very rigid ideas about what's romantic. Don't listen to them. I was once told by a female coworker that it was terrible my boyfriend had gotten me a car battery for Christmas. It was what I'd asked for, since I hate dealing with car stuff. He even installed it for me. After I explained this, she told me I was wrong to have wanted this. We never talked much after that. Your story sounds very sweet to me. And your fiancé sounds like the kind of guy who'll stick with you when things are shitty. Sorry, couldn't resist. Mine stuck with me through cancer, by the way. That's way more important than a bunch of lazy hearts and flowers crap. Your boyfriend listened to you, got you what you wanted, and knew it would overall be a good present. That's what most people want in their partner. It was a lovely, thoughtful gift. Now for the first update. The proposal happened on Saturday, and I had been holding off telling my parents and Peter's parents. Both sets of parents live in a different state. Tonight, we told my parents first via video chat. My parents are 58 male and 58 female. My mom is a massive fan of romance, and I knew she would ask about the proposal. Peter and I told my parents the whole proposal story. My mom was over the moon. She said proposing like that is better than any idea she had. My dad said it just proves the love Peter has for me. My mom asked if she can tell others, and I said sure. I had asked my mom to be my maid of honor. After getting engaged, my pick for maid of honor was either going to be Kate or my mom. I didn't pick my mom to spite Kate. I'm not punishing Kate. Kate's initial reaction to the proposal story would just make her being the maid of honor awkward. Plus, my mom is so happy with our union, and she would love to plan a wedding. Then, we told Peter's parents via video chat, Chuck 55 male and Linda 59 female. His parents really appreciated a comedy. Chuck thanked us for giving them the gift of telling that amazing story, if we're comfortable with that. I told him we're confused. Linda said she's so happy for us. Peter told his father that he wants him to be the best man. Lastly, we told Peter's sister Juliana 27 female via video chat, as she lives in another state. She had her father's sense of humor. I hope Kate and Bailey will be bridesmaids. Yes, Kate and Bailey are single. I've been best friends with Kate since the 9th grade, so this little disagreement wouldn't ruin our friendship. Second update. Kate and Bailey both agreed to be bridesmaids when I asked via message. Kate apologized via message, and she also sent me a video of her apologizing. Kate said she appreciates that I'm still letting her be a key part of the wedding. She said that after several days of thinking about the proposal, she realizes how loving it was. She said if she had IBS, she would appreciate a guy who treats her like how Peter treats me. Bailey apologized via message. Her apology was brief, and she admitted in it that Kate told her to apologize. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter, yeah, I get it, you hate him, when she went on a father-daughter trip? So I, 42 female, have 2 daughters. Emma, 17 female, and Lucy, 10 female. The issue revolves around my husband, who is Emma's stepfather. Emma's dad passed away when she was younger, and I remarried 3 years ago. She and my husband don't get along at all, and she makes it clear she dislikes him. My husband has tried to bond with her, but Emma shuts him out completely, refuses to talk, and ignores him. We all know she will never see him as a father figure, and we are fine with it. Here's where it gets tricky. When Emma was younger, her bio dad would take her to father-daughter outings. We have a lot of pictures of those. Lucy was too young to remember any of them. We thought it would be nice to do it again, since Lucy does see her stepdad as her dad. Specifically, they would go to a pumpkin patch and then carve them. They went to the pumpkin patch yesterday and had a great time. Lucy and my husband really bonded and had a good time. The issue is Emma. She is mad that it took over the tradition with Lucy, that my husband stole the tradition, and I am disrespecting my late husband's memory. I was exhausted from hearing the same arguments over and over. So, I snapped and said, yeah, I get it. You hate him. But your sister sees him as her dad and doesn't have these memories like you do. Are you really going to ruin this for your sister? And no one owns going to a pumpkin patch. She has been angry and calling me an insensitive jerk.
She is also getting on Lucy's case for going with my husband. My mom thinks I am a jerk here and I need an outside opinion. Edit. Before I get a million put her into therapy comments, we tried twice. She would just sit there. For months, even with different therapists, she would not talk. She just sat there. Not the a-hole. He didn't steal anything. Does Emma now believe that for forever now, anyone who goes on a father-daughter excursion can't? How narcissistic and self-centered. That is just plain silly. The only person here who is being disrespectful is Emma towards Lucy, trying to deny her the love and support from your husband. And that should not put up within no uncertain terms. Tell her to butt out. That's another issue. It is definitely hurting their relationship. Lucy sees him as her dad, and Emma hates it. Emma's going to end up pushing Lucy away from her. Or pushing Lucy away from the stepdad. Why not start a totally new tradition where all four of you go together? It did sound like you were trying to recreate something that was once owned by your daughter and thereby your dad. Oh, that would be worse. Trying to make her have family time with a guy she hates. Not to mention, she would make a whole point about how he isn't family to her. That would be a no. So what are you trying to do to help with the adjustment for your daughter? Did she receive grief counseling when her dad died? What can you do to help someone who doesn't want help? OP mentions they tried therapy twice. If my spouse died and my child wasn't interested in therapy, I certainly would research other ways to try to help them. I would ensure her father's memory is still honored. May do something just with her daughter that her dad would have liked. OP comes across as a little dismissive of her daughter's feelings. I guess some people haven't heard of you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. They already tried therapy. Twice. And she didn't cooperate. She doesn't have to treat her stepfather like a father figure, but that doesn't mean that he can't bond with his other stepdaughter just because she has trauma. You're not the a-hole here. It sounds like you've tried to be understanding of Emma's feelings, but at the end of the day, Lucy deserves to create her own memories too. It's not fair for Emma to gatekeep that tradition, especially since she's not open to accepting your husband as a father figure. You were just trying to find a balance between the two girls, and that's completely valid. Next story. Am I the a-hole for letting my daughter attend a Halloween party her stepsister is being excluded from? My ex-wife and I share 2 kids. Our daughter is 15 and our son is 13. We divorced 11 years ago, and we share custody of the kids 50-50. My ex is remarried and she has a stepdaughter in her home the same age as our daughter. My ex and her husband have tried to make the kids close, but especially the 2 girls because they're the same age. This has not worked. I know from my kids' time with me that they have zero closeness to her, and my daughter in particular doesn't like her stepsister. From speaking to my ex about issues in the past, I know her stepdaughter has trouble with other kids liking her, and she gets excluded by them more frequently than she's included by others. This was something my ex wanted me to address with our kids before. My daughter and her best friend were invited to a Halloween party. This year, the kids are with me for Halloween, so she asked me for permission to go. I spoke to the hosting parent, and I felt like it was safe for my daughter to go under the circumstances. My ex discovered I have given our daughter permission to go, and she was furious. She asked why I hadn't offered to take her stepdaughter to begin with, because she learned I was dropping the girls off and picking them up. Then she mentioned her stepdaughter was excluded from the party, and that every other kid in their grade is included. She felt that this meant our daughter should not be attending either, in support of her stepsister. She tried to forbid me from allowing our daughter to go. I told her it wasn't a decision she could make. She argued that I should be encouraging a supportive sibling dynamic between the girls, and that it seems like our kids only support each other and not their stepsister, who they've known for more than half their lives. My ex told me I'll be a real a-hole to a 15-year-old girl if I let our daughter go to this party. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your daughter is her own person. If she wants to go to a party, has your permission, and you are her guardian for that period, then you are in the right to allow her to go there. You aren't encouraging any bullying or discrimination of your ex's stepdaughter, and you certainly wouldn't be encouraging any supportive sibling dynamics between the girls by punishing your daughter by not allowing her to go. My only concern with the party was, would it be a safe space? It's not going to be the type of party where teens are drinking, etc. And there are enough adults present that I feel good about it. Adults I would trust. So yeah, I feel like that would be the only reason for me to say no. Although I am not a parent myself, I take it I would feel the same like you about the party. You did your homework, found that it is a safe environment for your kid to socialize and have fun, and you can sleep peacefully at night without worrying about something happening there. By the way, do you know why X's stepdaughter is excluded from the party? That's always my concern with parties. A lot of teen parties making the local news in recent years for the worst of reasons. So I always try to make sure my kids are safe. Not exactly, but I believe it's all coming from her being excluded just in general at school. It sounds like she is regularly the kid left out. Not the a-hole. I can understand why your ex-wife is struggling with his situation. It's hard to raise children under the same roof who are having two very different social experiences at school. But punishing your daughter for that isn't going to magically make the situation better. It's just going to further the gap between the two of them. Encouraging a supportive dynamic between the girls goes both ways. But it can be as simple as your daughter acknowledging that this is likely tough for her stepsister and remaining kind to her in the home. My ex-wife doesn't see it as a punishment. She views it as something my daughter would do for her brother, which is true, so she should do it for her stepsister too. That was something she really emphasized to me while we spoke. She pointed out how protective she is and would be of her brother, and how she doesn't give a crap about her stepsister and how she's treated. This has been an issue for her for years. But she also won't answer if roles were reversed, if her stepdaughter would do it for hours. Deep down, she recognizes it's both girls who are disinterested, but she finds it easier to focus on ours. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother and sister-in-law there's nothing I can do about their Christmas card photos being unsendable? My brother and sister-in-law got their Christmas card photo taken about a month ago now. They used a friend of mine who does family photos. This has apparently encouraged them to expect a lot out of me, because now they have a problem and they don't know what to do. My brother and sister-in-law have been married for 3 years and have a 6-month-old together. Sister-in-law also has 2 older kids, 13 and 11, from her first marriage. She was a widow when my brother met her. They're not the nicely blended family they wanted to be, and her kids from the first marriage didn't want to be in the photos. There was a huge battle to take them, but the kids looked a mix of angry and disgusted in all of them. Like legit glaring and looking ready to puke, while my sister-in-law and brother are smiling and the baby looks peaceful. A couple of them even show how distant they want to be from my brother and the baby. It's like they're leaning away from them. Sister-in-law said the photos are unsendable, and there's no way she could let family and friends see them. But I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do here. They complained to me 3 times so far, and the last time they told me I need to do something and fix it. I asked them what they expected me to do, that I'm not the kid's favorite person or even a trusted adult in their eyes, and I can't magically erase their expressions. My friend was honest with them while the photos were being taken, but they didn't take it serious until they saw them. I told them after back and forth that there's nothing I can do about the photos being unsendable. Sister-in-law told me I'm not being very supportive. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. What is there to support? Your brother and sister-in-law forced her 2 older kids to go and have family photos taken, and they weren't happy, and it showed. Your brother and sister-in-law need to get real and understand that forcing things like this will only drive the kids away the second they turn 18. 100%. I used to be a professional photographer. I quit because of people like OP's sister-in-law. There's nothing I can do if your kid won't cooperate. And no, you can't have a refund because your kids were brats and refused to smile. They should not have forced the older kids. Not the a-hole. Our blended family isn't, and the photos we had taken reveals that. They're focusing on the wrong thing here. The photos aren't the problem. The fact that the older kids likely resent their new half-sibling and are clearly unhappy with the current situation is the problem. If they want to paper over the cracks, tell them to deep fake some smiles onto the older kids. But really, they need to put some effort into actually tackling the root cause of the unsendable photos. The camera doesn't lie. They could also do a photo collage for their Christmas card. smiling photos of each of the kids from that year that were not taken at the forced family photos. If they don't have any pictures of the kids looking happy from the last year, then the sister-in-law has bigger problems and needs to reevaluate her life choices and put her kids in therapy. Am I the a-hole? This girl, 18 female, got pregnant and she and her parents want me, 19 male, to step up and help her raise her baby, even though I am not the dad. But I want to go into the core. Original post. Basically, this girl I always had a crush on got knocked up by some random loser, and now while she is pregnant, she has been wanting to date me. Her parents want me to step up and be a man, so they don't have to help her take care of the baby for like the next 18 years and have her stay with them. She is not a piece of cake, by the way. But the thing is, I am not the dad. She said she wants me to be her boyfriend and for me to get a job and a place for her and me to live to help raise our kid. My dad told me to tell her to go F herself and not to put my dreams to the side, and that I am so young and just a kid myself and to never ever in my entire life get involved with her. He said her baby is not my responsibility, and he will be heartbroken if I voluntarily take on this burden. He fully supports me going into the core. I told her I do not want to get involved with her, and her dad told me I am not a real man. Now for the top comments before reading the mini update. Her dad says you're not a real man for not wanting to raise another guy's child, when he himself doesn't want to raise his grandchild. Not the a-hole, obviously. Just leave that trash behind. Sounds to me like the girl's parents have been told OP is the dad. I'd bet the real dad is a deadbeat loser who she doesn't want to admit to her parents she was involved with. Maybe an older sketchy guy or someone her parents think is bad news. And now she's pregnant and he's done a runner? She's told her parents it's OP, who sounds like a decent kid and would be a more acceptable baby daddy in her parents' eyes. OP, I'd get your parents to get in touch with her parents and tell them you aren't the father. You've never slept with this girl, and if her parents insist you are, your family isn't prepared to give any money or support without a paternity test. This is the most reasonable explanation for why her parents are acting this way. Very true. OP, you can now see that this girl is a complete user who is only looking your way because she wants someone to take care of her and her baby. Definitely get your parents to clue her parents in that the father is someone else. You dodged a bullet and have nothing to feel guilty about. Not the a-hole. This. Her parents may be assuming you are the dad because their daughter has latched onto you once she got pregnant. Your parents need to be clear to her parents. You haven't slept with her, if true, or you haven't dated or had slept with her until she was already pregnant, if true. Therefore, there is no chance you are the father and you will not be raising someone else's child for them. They're welcome to do a paternity test, but you won't be involved in any way unless the test miraculously shows you are the father. But do not lie. Never lie. Not a-hole. Her dad is a pathetic man trying to pawn off her problems on you. Get out of there. It's kinda weird her dad is calling me about anything at all really, because I don't even know him. Do her parents know you aren't the dad? Is she maybe lying to them? Yes, her parents know I am not the father, and she never once to my knowledge claimed to her parents I am the father. She just wants me to be her boyfriend, and even husband. I am way too young and have other life plans though, so I could help support her baby and take this burden off their backs. It's your life and live it the way you like. Her parents are clearly crazy, and she is crazy as well. I would be prepared for one thing though. She may name you on the birth certificate, and that's the legal document most states book you on child support for. Please be prepared for a DNA test and a legal battle to get yourself off the birth certificate if she names you on it. I hope I didn't offend or bother you with my questions. Not a-hole. It isn't even a question. Do not let them do this to you. I wouldn't even trust that she really likes you. I'd assume she simply went to you because she knew you liked her and thought you'd be easy to trap so she wouldn't be a single mother. OP, as a 31 female, this was my first thought too. Do not feel bad. Run, run, run. This situation seems like it would be a very long, trying road full of resentment and perhaps a lack of support. This isn't your circus. This isn't your responsibility. I'm so happy to hear you have a dream. Go for it. Now for the mini update. I have been able to successfully block this girl and her parents on all social media platforms and their phone numbers and home phone, as well as my cell phone. I have also gotten a temporary restraining order. There is a legal process you have to go through for a real permanent one, but I'm working on it, against her and her parents. None of them are allowed to contact me by any means, including phone, email, mail, in person, or by someone else. If they do, the sheriff will have his deputies go to their house and bring them to the local jail. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister she got what she deserved after our older brother beat and choked her? The title sounds bad, but here is the context. 8 months ago, our oldest brother, 28 male, was jumped from behind and stabbed 13 times and cut up by 3 men after he left a grocery store on his way home from work. He nearly didn't make it and spent 4 months in and out the hospital. They stole his phone, wallet, everything he had on him, and took the car as well. Skipping all the legal stuff, so far only one of the men responsible has been caught when he trod upon some of my brother's things. After my brother got discharged from the hospital, he moved back in with our parents. All 3 of us kids are living with our parents at the moment. My sister, 20 female, I'm 21 male, and obviously my brother, 28 male. Due to what happened, my brother developed PTSD and has been diagnosed with PTSD. It was so bad that he couldn't allow anyone to walk behind him at all. He didn't even want to leave the house. I have to say that my brother is doing very well, or was doing well, up until my idiot sister. He is going to therapy, no problem taking his meds, and like I said, he has been doing very well to the point that he doesn't completely freak out when someone is behind him. Although he still completely avoids grocery stores at the moment, and sometimes still hyperventilate if we have to stop somewhere at night, he is working on it and is getting better. I have to give it to his therapist. That lady is amazing. She has even helped the family and his girlfriend understand better and giving us the knowledge and tools to assist my brother better. This is what happened. A little more than a week ago, my brother came home around 8 p.m. after visiting his girlfriend. My idiot sister thought it would be a good idea to hide behind the front door in the dark and jump on my brother from behind when he entered the house. I did witness everything, and I have pieced everything together from what I did see and what I was told. My brother freaked out and slammed my sister against the wall, choking her and punched her repeatedly. I don't know how many times he hit her, but my sister has a broken nose, busted eye socket, swollen face, and some bruised ribs. All we hear that night was screaming, and me and our dad running downstairs seeing my brother having my sister against the wall, choking her. I only saw 2 punches out of all he threw. It took me and my dad to restrain my brother and get him to calm down. My sister is currently looking like a red balloon. She was taken to the hospital. Nothing more serious other than the injuries said above. I don't know if there will be any legal troubles for my brother, but nothing has happened so far. We all gave our statements. Even my brother, but he doesn't remember much. He remembers walking into the house and then blank. According to one of the police officers, they don't believe charges will be filed but will be in touch. My brother has been holed up in his room since last week after the incident, only leaving for necessities. All the progress he has made over the last couple of months plus seems to just completely gone. He is basically the same as he was the day he left the hospital. I overheard my sister in the living room this morning on the phone. I don't know who she was talking to, but all I could hear from my sister is her complaining about being hurt. I understand, but I got mad when she called our brother a monster. That is when I told her she got what she deserved, and she should be glad that we were there to actually help, because things could have been a lot worse because of her idiocy. She caused her own pain. She caused our brother to relive something that almost took his life, and she is complaining and calling him a monster? I told her the only monster I see was her, for even thinking that what she did to our brother after she knows what he went through is okay to do, and then actually do it. I just shouted she should not expect any sympathy from anyone in the family after the nonsense she pulled, and she's lucky our parents haven't kicked her butt out of the house yet. My sister just went to her room and has been in her room the whole day. I can occasionally hear her crying through the wall between our rooms. My parents are mad at me and called me an a-hole for blowing up on my sister. They already had a conversation with her, and I should have stayed out of it. My sister was just blowing off steam with one of her friends over what happened, and I had no right to say anything I did to her. Edit: before someone calls my brother abusive again. Before all this happened, he was a kind, caring person, always a smile on his face. that has never gotten in a physical fight before outside of a boxing ring. I'm not asking on my brother's actions by mine, but if you want to weigh in on my brother's actions, please ask yourself this question first. You get attacked by 3 men, stabbed 13 times, got up and beat from behind, and then have someone jump on you from behind not even a year later and see how you would react in that situation. I don't know what went through his head at that moment, but I can tell you it wasn't, "Oh, my sister is jumping me," as a freaking joke. It was something like, "I'm getting attacked again. I have to protect myself." Now for the comment. Not the a-hole. She decided to essentially jump scare someone who has PTSD from being jumped and almost murdered. Is she stupid? What did she think would happen from doing such a cruel and stupid thing? I hope your brother will be okay soon, and this incident doesn't push him too far back in his recovery process. Unfortunately, it's as if he has never gone to therapy. All the progress he has made is completely gone. He is the exact same, if not worse, than the day he was discharged from the hospital. I'm so sorry for your brother. It is awful he basically has to start from square one, assuming he is willing to try. His home should have been a safe space, and your sister took that from him. Has she had any sort of consequences for what she did? Or is it a case of she's been punished enough? Exactly. She has already been punished enough according to our parents. Last story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my boyfriend of 10 years after he proposed during my best friend's wedding? My 36 female best friend Amy, 37 female, just got married last week. I was her maid of honor and I worked to the bone to make sure her wedding was a success. For the most part, it went well. My friend looked beautiful, the food was great, the flowers and decorations incredible. She was so happy, and it made me feel proud I was part of the group that worked to give her such an important day. Amy and I have been friends since we were in elementary school. We've reached all our milestones since together, went to the same college, even live in the same neighborhood. She's the closest I have to a sister, and even our parents joke we're reborn twins. Needless to say, Amy's one of the most important people in my life. At the end of my master's, I met Danny, 31 male. He hired me as a tutor and after a few sessions asked me out. I had never dated someone younger, but he was very sweet and I liked him, so I said yes. We've been together since. He had an older brother, Bobby, 39 male, who was introduced to Amy in a house party I hosted a few years later. The two were immediately taken with each other and they started to date. Eventually, Bobby asked Amy to marry him. During the wedding preparation, Danny casually mentioned how it would be a cute idea to propose during his brother's wedding. Bobby agreed, but both Amy and I immediately shut it down. I told Danny I found that kind of thing tacky. A person's wedding is a special day for them, and tainting it with stealing the attention was just wrong. After that, they stopped talking about it, so we kept going with the preparations. At the wedding reception, Bobby suddenly stopped the music to make an announcement. He said the day was very special as he was marrying the love of his life and kept singing praises to Amy. I thought it was a cute gesture, so I just moved to sit in my chair to listen to the speech. Then Bobby said a sentence that made me dread what was coming. And now the day is more special thanks to my brother's announcement. Suddenly, Danny was in front of me, kneeling with a box. Amy was in tears and ran out. I screamed at Danny, telling him he was a jerk and went after Amy. At first, she was angry at me, think I was involved in it. So were the other bridesmaids. Thankfully, one of the girls had seen me call out Danny and told the others about it. I told Amy I would never do this to her. We hugged and we all got out of the venue to Amy's suite. We found out later through the man's mother that Bobby gave Danny permission without speaking to Amy about it. I called Danny that same night to tell him we were through and I wanted him out of my apartment by the end of the week. I sent my mom to pick up my dog and parrot, just to make sure he didn't do anything to them or take them with him. He ended up taking my TV and game consoles. I had them since before he moved in, but his mother was nice enough to bring the consoles back. For all I care, he can keep the stupid TV. Amy is now trying to get her marriage annulled, since she feels she can't trust Bobby. The boy's mother has been nothing but a saint to us. She even paid back to Amy the money she spent on a wedding and told her to use the honeymoon with one of her friends. So Amy and I are now packing to go to Australia. She and Bobby had postponed it for a month so they could get a whole month of vacation. I'm a freelancer that works from home, so I'll just take my laptop. Since this whole fiasco, Danny has been blowing up my phone. Some of his friends have joined in this too, claiming I'm an a-hole for throwing out a 10-year relationship over a mistake. that he only wanted to make a cute gesture to prove how much he loves me. Except the cute gesture was taking over my best friend's wedding, after I had said how much I disliked that kind of stuff. Still, a part of me feels I'm overreacting. So Reddit, am I the a-hole in this? Do the people PMing me to call me names or insult me have the balls to post in public or just leave me alone? I have no interest in cowards that hurl insults in private. Also, for the record, even if it had been a perfect proposal, for my own reason I would have refused to marry. We were not in marriage talks. Far from it. You both told them no and they did it anyway. Neither of you wants to deal with that sort of crap for the rest of your lives. You've both dodged a bullet. Not a-hole. Add Danny stealing her television and game console to that. Not the a-hole. The most disturbing thing to me was saying to get the animals in case he did something. Like I would never be in a relationship with someone who thought had even a 1% chance of ever harming an animal in purpose, regardless of the situation. So he wanted to prove how much he loved you by doing something you already told him you'd hate? No. They wanted to peer pressure you into accepting. Not the a-hole. I have a feeling you are right. I'm honestly not big on PDA. I hate public proposals and big gestures. Even if we did marry, I would have asked for a very small or no ceremony at all. I've been proposed to twice. I told both men what I wanted. The first man did the exact opposite of what I wanted, and none of it was good either. Like it was in public when I wanted private, in an area where it was dirty. He wanted me to wear a nice date dress for an outing, and other people were busy doing things so we were in their way. Even the ring was a god-awful tacky thing that he knew I wouldn't like, but his mom picked it. He did it because he was trying to trick me into saying yes before I found out he had been lying about things in his life. It turns out he was very selfish and didn't care about me. He only cared that I was going into a field that made a lot of money. Needless to say, I didn't marry him. The second one listened to me. He paid attention to what I wanted and said what he was thinking he wanted. We worked together. He pulls his own weight and is thoughtful. We had a private proposal and then a big dinner, which was perfect. He even made sure the ring was something I'd love. Take it as a sign. If the proposal is horrid, it means they don't listen to you or care about you. It doesn't have to be fancy or even spend any money. The ring my husband got me was a fraction of the cost my ex tried to get me, but my husband's is 10 times better because it suits me. The proposal was at home and dinner. Didn't cost any more than what we usually spend on date night. Guys don't have to go out of their way to show they listened. They just have to show they care. And if they don't want to do it the way the girlfriend wants to do it, then they can use their words to discuss why. Your ex wouldn't do that, so you made a good choice. Your life would have been dictated by him if you stayed.